truly getting to the root cause. I call it the problem behind the problem. Getting replacement behaviors, because yes, you can go, you can get a drug, but if you don't change some of your behaviors, your actions, your patterns, your routines, be it what you eat, what you put in your body, how you feed your mind, it's just going to be a repetitive, ongoing cycle for the rest of your life. So, talk about, because like I said, I love the mindset and the behavior aspect of that healing. What do you do to address mindsets and behavior in your work?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to hone in on that specifically, talking about mindset and behavior change, what I see always missing in people in their healing journey is that they're not focusing on that aspect. And so that's the difference between a functional medicine doctor and then someone like me. Because a functional medicine doctor will see you and then be like, "Oh, okay, you got these functional lab tests, maybe similar to what I do, maybe exactly what I do." But then they'll be like, "Okay, let's do these recommendations and then let's take these supplements and then in 3 months come back and we'll see where we're at." And it's like, is something magic going to happen in those 3 months to where they're just going to come back and be fully restored? Most likely not, because what actually needs to happen? A true lifestyle habit change, mentally and emotionally as well. So that's the power of the coach as well. That is the difference between what someone that's a functional medicine doctor would do and someone that I do. Because I can most definitely do what the functional medicine doctor is doing, but it's not only just that. Because remember, it's been an environmental adaptation. What does that mean? It means that we're not dieting you, we're dieting your environment. Because your environment is what got you there. It's like we thought about this. We look at Tangled headphones. Remember those before they had AirPods? And when you bring it out the bag and they're all tied up together, it's like a huge knot. And if you just try to yank the knot, you just make it worse. So what you got to do is untangle it. And that's what we're doing with our environment, getting more sleep, getting better nutrition, anti-inflammatory diet, supporting cortisol levels, supporting gut microbiome health, supporting thyroid function, one by one. And so what I like to do with my clients, to answer your question, after bringing a little bit of awareness to it, is that we're focused on what are your thoughts in the beginning of the day? What is pouring into you?
How do you see people come to this realization? Because I feel like I tell people this all the time, and I'm a living example. Um, by when I got my whole, like I call it my lifestyle, the whole person working together, things magically changed that I've been trying to treat and address for 20 years. How do you get people to that realization? Because I struggle with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a really good question. And to answer your question, Amanda, like I have this saying that I would stand on, and that's that you have to fix your physiology before you fix your psychology. So what that means is that I think therapeutic stuff is incredible. EDMR, what all those modalities are absolutely needed. But until you address the internal dysfunctions that are causing the neurotransmitter imbalance, the neurochemical issues, you will forever be still dealing with those mental and emotional problems that where you can't even adhere to the program and protocol, to even the lifestyle changes, to the habits that you need to change to be able to heal and get better and lose weight and so forth. So what that means is that the first step in how we help someone will address that is that we need to fix their physiological state. If your blood sugars are all jacked up, you're dealing with toxicity issues, you're dealing with low metabolic rate because your metabolism, let's say your thyroid function's slow. If you have tanked hormones because you're in perimenopause, well, yeah, of course you feel like crap, and of course you can't work out, of course you can't follow a plan because you feel like you know what.
Yeah. Oh, you could say it. Yes, I am there.
So what happens then is that she thinks or you think you can't do it. Well, hell yeah, you can't do it because your body's all jacked up.
Yeah.
So the first step we got to do is fix this portion first before we try to beat on someone, before we try to beat on their mindset saying just push harder, be more motivated, just got to fight through it. Next day, one day at a time. All that's cute and cool. I mean, I do it all the time. But it's like if you don't fix your physiological issues going on, then it's not going to cause anything. It's not going to help with anything. And so once we help you actually start fixing what's going on internally, But that's when we can start getting a little bit more aggressive with the lifestyle changes needed to help with the healing journey.
Yes. And, I'm old enough, I've seen it generationally of in the 90s, it was the Prozac nation. And then, we've hit all these kind of cycles of, then it was like you said, Xanax. And now we seem to be in the ADHD mode. And it's like, come on, people, look at the history of where we are and let's actually address the symptoms and the problems and do better and not just sustain.
Yeah, and I actually, like I mentioned, I test people's Dutch test results daily. What I look at is their dopamine metabolites. It is always depleted. If you have ADHD, the likelihood that you have low dopamine is very, very much high. Not medical advice, as always. But if you feel like you're constantly tired, you have unmotivation, you can't focus to save your life, that dopamine issue, that's a dopamine issue. Now, there's many things to help with that, like improving precursors of dopamine, like L-tyrosine, L-dopa. But until you actually address what's causing that dopamine depletion, it's like you're wasting money, throwing money in a trash because
Mm-hmm.
you're not fixing the root cause.
Yep.
Just like when you buy that copay at the doctor to go see you get refill on a prescription, same thing there. You're not actually fixing the root cause. Sure, it actually might help you, and some medications are life saving. So continue, please
Right.
keep doing that. I did not say I'm against Western conventional medicine.
Right.
Matter of fact, I've given tons of money to research to do so. But with that being said, if you want to fix the root cause, then you have to do these things. You have to figure out what's causing that in the first place. Root cause. What is the cause? It's in the word. But
And we all don't need medicine. Like that the pyramid is reversed of we all need a healthy lifestyle to be proactive, preventative, and there's this smaller percentage of true medicine need. But
yeah, yeah, absolutely, and I think that's critical because, well, for one thing, it's a complete thing. So when we look at functional medicine, I know this is actually probably something I should have mentioned earlier. When we look at functional medicine, your body works in unison, not in isolation. So what Western conventional medicine is doing is they're isolating systems in your body. That is a huge problem. Now, matter of fact, Western conventional medicine, allopathic medicine, was actually founded in the early 1900s. Natural healing, everything was founded way before that, hundreds of years before that. Okay? Now remember, people pay off people to get distorted results. That's all. I'm going to leave it there. But
Yep.
with that being said, too, the endocrinologist is going to look at the endocrine system. The gastroenterologist is going to look at the gastrointestinal system. Cardiologist is going to look at the cardiovascular system. Okay? And then you have all those other specialists. So what they're doing is they're isolating systems inside your body, but at the end of the day, it's working in unison. Okay? So if you have poor gut health, you have inflammation in the gut, it's going to also impact your thyroid function. It's going to impact your immune system. If you have hormonal issues, it's going to impact your brain. Psychiatrists will not look at your hormones, are they? Have your psychiatrist ever said, hey, we should probably get your hormones checked? You know? Like, no, I've never heard that. Or has your doctor ever said, hey, how much sunlight did you get today? How much movement did you get? Did you get some fresh air? Were you in front of blue light? Have you got enough sleep? You know? Are you
right.
Are you deficient in magnesium? Which 70% of the population is. You know, so all these things is absurd. It's crazy. And, you know, it's, like I said, it's a complete, utterly joke that it's like we're going to Instagram for this.
Right.
But it's just, you know, like I said, you got to keep an open mind.
Well, and what you're talking about is integrated alignment. And that
Yep.
is the key for really the purpose of our community and our podcast and what we do here. So I have two things before we go. Okay. I drink a whole lot of bubbly. So like the soda water. And I'm so upset because like 6 people in the last month have sent me that I have to stop drinking it because it has all the toxins in it. And I'm like, well, I stopped alcohol. I think that's way more toxic.
Yep.
But so the theory is everything that we have toxic? Because even water, like if tap water, if you're not drinking filtered water, could have toxins in it. So how much environment do we control, and then we just throw our hands up and are like, great,
Yeah.
bubbly's going to kill me.
Yeah, I love that. That's actually so critical to talk about. And because, yeah, we have people living in bubbles. Look at Dave Asprey. Look at Brian Johnson. Look at those longevity experts. Like, is that really longevity?
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
that isn't true health. That isn't true health. But anyway, going back to what you're saying, we, a little bit of toxicity is good. That's what penicillin is. That's what vaccines are. They're toxins. Your body then creates immunological, pretty much antibodies to attack this antigen, this issue. So what that means is that a little bit of toxicity is good, just like a little bit of bad bacteria is good for the gut microbiome. But since we live in a so hypersanitary age, we're keeping it very clean, that actually disrupts the gut microbiome. This has been shown through clear literature too. But going back to what you're saying, that is I can't think of the term off my head, but that's like picking up pennies over $100 bills if you're worried about things like
Yeah.
that.
Thank you. All right. Stop sending me that, people. I'm going to keep drinking my bubbly.
Yeah. Well, it's really good too. Some of my clients, to be transparent, it's like let's get them off. I mean, I'm not everyday things. Vape.
Yep.
Let's get off the vape.
Right.
Maybe we do a Zyn.
Right.
Maybe we
Yes.
do something else. It's still nicotine, obviously, but it's a lot better than where we were.
Right.
And for people that have codependencies, addictions, that's important.
Mhm.
Okay, so you got to work
Yep.
with them. Remember,
Harm
we're
reduction.
talking about working with the individual, not against them.
Yeah.
So,
Love it.
like these people are hyper analyzed on this, like, oh, everything is toxic, blah blah blah. A little bit of toxicity is good for you, like I had mentioned, and it's all about the toxicity load. Okay, so we look at the things. We got a huge bucket. We got a bucket.
Mhm.
And when the buckets overflow and of toxins, that's when our symptoms start to pour out. Fibromyalgia, PCOS, infertility, weight gain, brain fog, bloating, constipation. So what we want to do is make sure that we're filtering that bucket out. So doing different things. So that's really what I have to say about that.